I think as much as we look at Pete Golding, Coach Bill O'Brien is not excused either, and that starts the conversation. Bill O'Brien is a clever man. This is a very smart dude. He was not trying to hear those butt chewings from Coach Saban. This is the reason why he was in the booth calling plays and not on the field, because he was not trying to hear Saban. But we know that this week he will not be able to avoid it, because whether it happens in coaches' meetings, in team meetings, or on the field in practice, Saban is going to give it to Bill O'Brien. And the reason why he's going to do this is during the game, did anybody else notice how O'Brien just flat out abandoned, neglected the run game? Did anybody else notice how he just withheld 2 running backs? There was a lot of things that happened where the run game was concerned against Florida, where the Crimson Tide, where the situation is. And there were a lot of U.S. fans on social media, particularly on Twitter, during the game Saturday. You guys were going, what in the world is Bill O'Brien doing? Bama's got 4 running backs. Why are we not running the ball more? Why are we trying to force throws with Bryce Young? What is Bill O'Brien doing? Did Brian Robinson, Jace McClellan, Trey Sanders, and Roydell Williams just disappear off the face of the earth? What is going on with Bill O'Brien here? What type of plays is he calling? You had a bunch of you that were going, O'Brien, I believed in you. I trust in you. I vouch for you. And this is what you're doing out here on the field against Florida. And while some of you guys are still kind of nervous about the offensive line and the run blocking, and while some of you guys still look at Bryce Young as if to say, what is the mental hang-up? Why does he not want to run the ball more? Why is he caught in the middle of, do I run? Do I pass? Is the zombie apocalypse coming? Do I have to play 20 questions? What do I do here on the field? So while that's a concern also, with the offensive line a bit and Bryce Young's indecisiveness of whether do I want to run or pass, though he is labeled or though he is classified as a dual threat quarterback, that's something else for another day. But getting back here into the neglected run game here, Brian Robinson and Jace McClellan were having a field day in the first quarter. Alabama took a 21-3 lead. If you look back at the first 3 drives, what made those first 3 drives possessions successful, Alabama ran the football. And they weren't running it up the middle. It was a lot of these stretch plays off the offensive tackles, Evan Neal and Chris Owens. You saw Brian Robinson break a 23-yard run. You saw Robinson break a couple of 11-yard runs. You saw Jace McClellan with a 5-yard run here, a 4-yard run there. All of these were productive runs in the first quarter that set up touchdowns that kept Alabama's offense balanced, that, took the crowd a little bit out of the football game, despite how hostile the crowd was at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, known as the Swamp. But after the first quarter, Bill O'Brien thought he was back with the Houston Texans. Bill O'Brien thought he was back in the NFL because completely neglected Brian Robinson, completely neglected Jace McClellan. And when that happened, and you're forcing plays from Bryce Young, and you are not having that balance offensively, but because we knew coming in to the season, you got 4 to 5 running backs, you got to lean on that run game. There was going to come a moment where Bama needed to trust that run game. We had Antonio Carter, former Alabama wide receiver, on the show to end last week on Friday, and AC said this was going to be Brian Robinson's big game. This was going to be B-Rob's big moment to show up and show out. And AC called it because in the first quarter, Florida couldn't stop B-Rob. He was pounding guys. He was running through guys. He was stepping all over guys. He should have had 100 yards rushing in this game. He had 75 yards. Could have went over 100 yards if Bill O'Brien just trusted, just stuck with, did not abandon the run game, because when that happened, Bama's offense started sputtering, out of control, spiraling, out of control, several 3-and-outs. And what that did, it energized the crowd. It energized Florida's defense, because now we're thinking all we got to do now is come after Bryce Young, clamp on these receivers, because they have abandoned the run game. And what this also did, it energized Florida's offense, because Emory Jones started to play the game of his life after that interception. Bill O'Brien went away from the run. And what was more perplexing than going away from B-Rob and McClellan, where the heck was Trey Sanders and Roydell Williams? Can someone tell me that? Like, I was literally in the press box about to put an APB out for Trey and Roydell. They did not even make an appearance in the stat column. Like, donde está? Going back to my Dora Explorer days. Donde está? Where is Trey and Roydell? I mean, Trey Sanders, who had the feel-good moment week 1 of the season with a 20-yard touchdown run against Miami. We know how fond of Sanders Nick Saban is, talking about his determination and his love for the game and his passion of the game and his want to get back on the field from the injuries. Why did Bill O'Brien not have Trey on the field? This was a homecoming for Sanders. He's from Florida, so why was he not on the field, Billy O? Bill O'Brien, why was Trey not on the field? This is something that the Bama Nation wanted to know about. And not just Trey. Where was Roydell Williams? An in-state young man from, he's in-state talent. Played at Hueytown High School here in the Birmingham area. A guy that had a very good spring, a very good A-Day game. Where was Roydell? I mean, I don't know if there was a hidden injury that Saban didn't get into. I don't believe that was the case, because Saban is starting to get in front of the media in the case of injuries. Saban's like saying in press conferences, oh, I know you're going to ask me about so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm going to tell you right now, he had pulled a muscle, had a knee injury. Had a little death in the family. We couldn't play, didn't play, this and that went on. So even Saban is starting to get in front of reporters in terms of injuries. Both guys made the trip. Trey made the trip. Sanders, Roydell Williams made the trip. They both had their helmets with them. They both were on the sideline. They both were there. So when you have all of these 4- and 5-star backs and you're going up against a Florida defense that struggled against the run last year in the SEC championship game when Najee Harris ran amok on that defense. And in the first quarter, you've got Brian Robinson and Jace McClellan running amok on the defense of Florida. Why do you go away from that? Why do you go away from the balance? And then furthermore, why do you withhold Trey Sanders and Roydell Williams from getting on the field? You use all of your talents. You play all of your best players. You give Florida all the curveballs in the run game you can give them. Bill O'Brien did not do that. And unlike him, Dan Mullen of Florida did that. Dan Mullen trusted his backs. Dan Mullen trusted the run game. Florida had 245 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns. Malik Davis, Naquan Wright, Damian Pierce, heck, even Emory Jones. They all had a pile of blue fojo, running the darn football, creating the balance, and that almost gave Florida the win. A missed extra point and a failed 2-point conversion ended up being the difference in the football game. Bill O'Brien, this is not the NFL. You've got the talent around you. Trust the talent that you have on the field offensively.